Welcome to the Modern Application Development 2 screencast. In this screencast, we will continue to experiment with our app and componentize it and see how we can improve it, by using various features of Vue. For this, you will need an editor. I'm using Sublime Text here, as you can see. You need a browser. I have Firefox here. I've already installed the Vue add-on so that we can experiment with it, right? And yeah, you can see here. Let's start. Okay, to begin with, we remember doing this app where a visitor can leave a name and say hi, and then it adds up and shows the things. I've continued to use the same application. You can see the code here. This is the HTML part, this is the JS part, and this is the same file that I've opened here. And if you can enter your name, say hi, it shows your name here and number of replies. Let's improve this a little bit. What I'll do is I'll remove this message, this top message we don't require. Okay, and I'm going to remove this. So I'm going to add another attribute, incoming attribute called visitor message. So let's say they're going to leave name and message. Okay, and then let's assume that we don't need to say any of this. We'll just say hi, and the say hi message is there. Then visitor name, visitor message. Let's call this messages. Let's store all the messages visitor leaves along with their name and actual message. So this total message, we'll make it plural, messages will have when the hi is called, it will store both the name and the message. So let's call this attribute as visitor name, and then visitor messages, visitor message, right? This will store this dot visitor message, and then we'll empty that. We'll empty this, and yeah, let this be there. I think this will not become visitors.length, become messages.count. Okay, here let's just check once. Messages, I'm adding to messages when the hi is called. Okay, here I think we are iterating through visitors. We won't be iterating through visitors anymore. We'll be iterating through messages, and each one will be called a message, and we can print message here, but we won't print the object. We'll print the this one, visitor name, and what message he left, right? That will be message. Open brackets, it is just attribute. Okay, I think this should work. Let's just check. Reload. So there it is, your name, let's say Tej, welcome, say hi. So it's showing Tej and welcome, right? Now let's assume, I mean, this is not really like a production level application, but let's assume that there are 3 folks who are hosting this website, and you want 3 books or 3 guest books where folks can leave a message for 3 folks. For example, there is let's say Thej's messages board, Raj's messages board, and Fatima's message board, and we want the same thing appear thrice so that all of them can receive like a message here, right? It's a simple thing. We are not storing anywhere, it's just a display, but let's say we have 3 boards. That would make you want to repeat all of these thrice, and write logic for that and all of that. The easier way to do that would be to convert this into a component. It's very easy to convert a the view application into a component, we'll have to just define a new view component, right? That can be done very easily by calling view.component. Like the way we have a new view, we'll call view component. Now view component actually takes two important attributes. One is a name, what you want to call the name to be. We want to call it message board. Let's call it message board, right? And then it takes optional parameters, just like our app, right? Just like our app. Now view component is easy. We can do it by just defining the view component by calling view.component. Compo NENT. Okay, it takes two attributes. The first one being the name, and the second one is set of attributes. Let's say what you want to call it. We want to call it message board because we want each one to get a message board, like Tej, so Priya and Fatima to get a message board each. So we can call it message board. VOARD. Now it takes input parameters just like our view app. Now our view app is doing almost a single message board task, so we have to move all of these into our view component, right? Let's do that and see what happens. Okay, we're going to copy the same thing, remove this and paste it here, right? I'm going to format it. Okay, so everything remains same, but here we are not going to use data as an attribute, but data will actually become a function which returns the data, right? Because we want to keep a set of data separate for each component. So it will become a function which returns the data, right? You can return this. Just formatting a bit. Okay, now we have converted data into a function. This remains same, this remains same, everything else remains same. Now let's see how to use this. This is what we have defined here, but the one thing that we missed is how we are going to write the content of the component, which is the template, right? Which is actually here, this part, right? So let's define a template. Template is defined by defining the attribute template. We'll use backtick to put component details, and we can just, because each message board will contain these details, right? So we're going to take this and put this into like our component, because this whole thing is going to become component. So it's one thing we're going to move into a template. Okay, so we moved into a template. Now our whole application we kind of componentized into component. Now we can use this component multiple times, unlike our application which is only one. So let's see how to use it, and that's quite easy. That you can do by just calling message, what was the name of the component? Message board, right? Message board and slash message board. Okay, let's refresh and see. I've kept the things on. Okay, there seems to be some error. Let's see what's the error. Okay, so now it's throwing an error. I can read the error here. Text your name is outside the root element will be ignored. Basically there is no root element. There are many parallel elements, there is no root element, right? Because a component can have only one root element, and that one root element should be there. We don't have a root element here, so we're going to just add a div as our root element. Okay, let's add div as a root element. this should fix the template. Let's refresh this. Okay, error is gone. Now you can see if you actually click on view here, and you can see there is root and there is message board. If you click on message board, you can see its attributes and its functions and stuff like that. Okay, now you can give a name, and let's say welcome back. I'll say hi, so it shows here. Now the whole purpose of doing this was to have three message boards, three independent message boards. Let's add them. I'm just going to make it simple table to add them as like columns, right? You could use divs and rows and columns using the frameworks that we have learned before. Using our standard framework Bootstrap, you can create rows and columns and then make them that way. But for a quick use, I'm just going to make it into a table, a simple table with one row and column, three columns, each column containing a message board. So I can see message boards here, right? So you can see three message boards. Let's make it little more. You can do any styling here. You can do what all the formatting that you want to add. So I'm just going to do like a P to bring them into next line. Okay. You can add your styles and other classes and other things. Okay. Let's refresh this. Okay, so you can see that now there behind there is a P graph. Let's say Tej, welcome back for this is, let's say, Fatima's board, and this is then say hi. So it's reloading. Okay, that's because it's clearing the things. Okay, not reloading, actually clearing the things. Okay. Let's say this one Manoj also says hi, but to this board, and Raj again says hi to Fatima's board, right? But now we want to add like a name for each of the one name of the board. We can do that by just adding, for example, name here, right? We could probably like let's add a name here for each of the board. I'll show you a better way of doing it, but initially let's start. Let's say here if I had Tej's board, okay, Fatima's board, Ruth's board, right? So you can see here which board is whose. But I really don't want to do this. I wanted it to be part of our definition itself, part of our board. I wanted to send a message along with this, to actually our component saying this is the board name. That you can do by sending a property. You can do, for example, say title of the board and say Tej's board. Instead of doing here, we are going to send it and make it part of the component. I'll show you how you will use title inside the template. Let's do this first. Okay, Fatima, Ruth. So I'm going to remove that here. I'm going to refresh, right? And you can see nothing happens because we are sending it as title here, but we are not using it here. Now to use it, you have to define properties, or what do you call PROPS. You can, for simple ones, you can just define it as an array, and we want to remove. We want to receive title, and we want to print the title here. Now I'm going to do like a h4 or h3, whatever, and then like our regular property we can use it here, and then you can save. Now you can see that you're sending the property here to the message board, which is defined, and we're using that property inside the message board, right? Okay, there seems to be something wrong. Okay, syntax error. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, now you can see the name of the board using the property. So that's how you actually send values from the main app into the component, right? I mean, we just showed it as a title, but this is a way to send details or values or some data from the main app into the component. You can send many things. You could probably send some style elements, for example, or you could send other properties like size, for example, how big or how small you want the whole component to be, things like that. And then you can use that here, to format it or to make it the way you want it. Basically, you can send all kinds of data from here to here using properties. You can expand it to add some default values and add some property types, like whether it's a string, integer, etc. But here I'm using simple property. You can explore that by yourself. Now I want to do one more thing. Now we have added like a message board which works independently, right? Here is one. Here Raj says hi, as if says hi, right? Now I want to show a global counter that says how many messages were received in total. Currently we know one message was here, one message is here, one message here, and if you see in our component we have a computed, but it's at that individual level, right? That individual level. It's not the total overall application's total message received. There's no way to count, do that currently. Well, we could do if we could pass, when somebody says hi, if you could tell that we have received a message back to app saying you have received a message, and then we could count up and show them the total message. But currently there's no way to send that back. We'll see how to do that. We can do that by emitting a event. I'll show you how to emit an event from here to do that. You can't really do, for example, if I define data here like we defined, which is a global app level data, let's say global count is equal to 0, right? And then I can use that here, global, or let's say total messages received until now. I mean, you can do this. Let's say what happens. Let's say this is h3, just to give some significance. It can be any tag. And then if I do, did I save it? Yes, I've saved it. Let me refresh. So it shows 0, and now if I do Ram hi, it's not incrementing because we have not incremented the global count, right? Now to increment the global count, like we did before, this dot global count is equal to this dot global count plus 1, right? If we do that, let's see what happens. Okay, now hey, hi Ram, hi. So now nothing happens because if you see, this dot global count doesn't exist here on this it exists on the app. So this, nothing happens for this. Basically, there's no way to reach the main app using this, right? So to reach that app, what we're going to do is we're going to emit an event. What we're going to do is we're going to call, instead of this, we're going to say this dot dollar emit. This is how you raise an event. What is the name of the event that you want to raise? We want to raise add to global total, right? So this is the event we want to raise. Let's see what happens now when we do this, right? We are now hi Raj. Then if I say hi, it did hi. But if you go to your view, if you go to events, you can see that there is an event. The event name was add to global total, and it got emitted, and the message was the source of the emit was a message board, this message board or any message board, and the payload was array. We are not currently worried about the payload. We just know that the event was raised, and but nothing was done, because like any event, once the event is emitted, you need to handle it, right? Now we did learn in the last thing, we could add an event handler by von, right? By calling this von. So we can do the same thing. We can use von and handle the event. Just give me a second. Let's write something von. It's not actually v colon now, it's v dash on colon. And what is the event? We usually used to do click, right? Because we always handled click generally. But here the event name is not click. Event name is add to global total. That's the name of the event. You can see here, name of the event is add to global total. So that's the same event name we are going to use it here. And then we are going to call a function count global, right? This is a function that's going to handle this event. We're going to do the same thing for this two and for this two. Now let's see what happens if I call this, right? I'm going to refresh this, say hi, say Raj, say hi. Okay, event was raised but nothing happened, right? It got raised but no one handled it, right? In the console, if you see, there is a event raised but nothing, no clown global function to handle it. We have not defined that function at all. So now we'll just define this function. Where do we need to define this function? Because it's getting called emitted on the top of the event. It's got to be defined at the app level. So we're going to define it here, right? So we're going to define like before, add an attribute called methods. Within that, we'll add a function. The function name will be count global. And function, this function won't take any inputs. It will just increment this. This dot global count is equal to this dot global count plus 1, right? Just checking all the brackets are closed. Okay, now I think it should work. Let's see whether it really works. Hi, not hi. Raj says hi. See, it got incremented here 1 globally. Thejesh says hi. Ruth this. Hi. See, this is how you actually pass the event. You don't have to just pass the event, you can also pass data along with the event. You can check out the details of emit, how to send the data and how to receive the data here and do that data. For example, if you have a global pool of messages that you want to display on the side, not only individually but as a together, you can do that. I mean, I'm just giving an example, but if I had a cart, you could add multiple products into the same single cart. Each cart could have for example, catalog could have different sections, but there could be one total catalog for the whole application. And that's how you send data back. Now, in this case, from a component back to the main app. That's it for today. What you learned is how to create a component, how to handle component templates, how to send properties to the component from the main app to the component and use that property, then how to actually send emit event and use that event to get data and update the main app. That's all in today's screencast. I'll see you next time. Thank you.